Hi guys, welcome to lesson 28, session 2. I tried to zoom in a little bit more on the camera so that you can see the page a little bit better and the math problems. But if it's still kind of too small to see like all the print or like the work that I'm doing, try and zoom in if you're using a computer, like on your little keypad. You can do 2 fingers and push them away from each other to zoom in and then close them to zoom back out. If it's on a phone, that might work, but this should look a little bit better. Looks like there's more of the page in the screen this time. So, session 2, solving problems about time. This is our 3 reads problem, so I'll go first. Sadie spends 1.5 hours doing homework. She plays outside for 20 minutes and practices the piano for 1/4 of an hour. How many more minutes does Sadie spend doing homework, then practicing the piano and playing outside? Okay, so I'm going to highlight some important information. If you have a highlighter or marker, you can do this too, or underline. So 1.5 hours doing homework. That's a long time. Good for her. Plays outside for 20 minutes. Practices piano, I'm just gonna piano for 1/4 of an hour. Okay, and then they want to know how many more minutes does Sadie spend doing homework, then practicing the piano and playing outside? So, and is super important in there. We have to combine the piano time with the playing outside time and see how much longer is the homework time compared to both of those together, okay? So first thing, I'm going to put my notes down here. So homework equals 1.5 hours. Outside is 20 minutes, abbreviated, and playing the piano is 1/4 of an hour. So 1/4, that's 1/4 of an hour. So we're going to change everything to minutes because it's asking how many more minutes. So we need to do some measurement conversion. So we're going to convert our hours or our 1/4 of hours into minutes. So 1 hour, just that one whole hour, is how many minutes? Hopefully you said 60. And half an hour would be half of that. So that's going to be 60. The half an hour is going to be 30. So 1.5 hours is 90 minutes. And then 1/4 of an hour. You might just know that because people in your house say it, or maybe from an iReady lesson or something. But if you think about it like fractions, like a regular clock, okay, with like 12, 1, 2, 3, all the way around, right? If you break it into fourths, so each one is 1/4, okay, how many minutes would be from here to here? And again, how many minutes from here to here? So how many minutes is in each 1/4? So to figure that out, you could just look at the clock and know how many minutes it would be from the 12 to the 3. Or you could take 60 minutes divided by 4, because there's 4 sections. You could do a little area model for that if you'd like to. You can pause and figure that out with a family member or by yourself or with your dog real quick if you'd like to. But I'll let you know, 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. Okay, so I know she spent 90 minutes doing homework, 20 minutes outside, and 15 minutes on the piano. They want to know in the problem, how many more minutes does she spend doing homework than both of these combined? Okay, so you could do it a couple ways. You could do it in multiple steps. You could add the outside time plus the piano time. And you could do that part first. So 20 plus 15 is 35 minutes. That's how much they spent on both of those. And to find the difference, to find out how many minutes more is here, you would do 90 minus that 35, okay? Another way you could do it is in one big long equation. 90 minus, and then both of those combined in parentheses, because that's the step you do first over here. Okay, and it's the same thing, right? I don't have a variable. M for minutes. All right, so pause that and solve for how many more minutes she spends on her homework than on both of those two activities combined. And then if you'd like to pause it and do an area model, like what we did in session 1, you can fit an area model down here, hopefully. Okay, I'm assuming you paused. I'll do that over here. 90 minus 35. I can't do 0 minus 5, so I have to borrow from the 9 or regroup 10 from the 90, and that'll be 1. Okay, 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, so 55 minutes. 55 minutes. So she spends 55 minutes on 55 more minutes doing homework than playing outside and doing the piano. Good for her. Okay, so if you did an area model, great. Give yourself a star if you got 55 minutes. Let's see on the back page how they solved it. And if you wanted to pause it for a bit and then explain to somebody how you solved it and show your work to them, that would be awesome. Or if like you and a sibling or a family member are working on the problem together, like you could have them do it privately and then you do it, like how we do in class, that would be ideal. So here's our problem again, and here's the bar model they used. So if you did one on the previous page, hopefully it looks like that. That's the 90 minutes she did doing homework. That was playing outside, piano time, and then this is the difference. How much more time she spends on her homework than those two, okay? Or you can do an equation like this. Oh, theirs is a little different than ours. We did this. Can you see still? Okay, 90 minus 20 plus 15 equals, they used H, we'll use H. Okay, but same thing. Those three added together should equal the 90 minutes. All right, next page. Okay, connected questions. Still in the page, okay. Look at the bar model in the first model it. So the bar model over here. Why do you think the amount of time Sadie does her homework and practices the piano changed to a number of minutes? So in the problem before, it was 1.5 hours of homework, but why did we change it to 90 minutes? And down here, practicing the piano for 1/4 of an hour, we changed it to 15 minutes. We didn't write in 1/4 of an hour. We didn't write in 1.5 hours doing homework right here. We changed everything to minutes. Why do you think we did that? Center. Okay, so you can pause, record your answer there, whatever you think. Why did we have to change everything to minutes? I would have said something like this. You need to convert, it's our nice vocab word for change, convert all the times to, you can't see the end of my sentence, there, to the same unit to compare, add, and subtract them. Okay, so how much time does Sadie spend doing homework? So I'm assuming in minutes, or the original time. They said 1.5 hours, slash, I know since I converted it already, that's 90 minutes. Okay. How much time does Sadie spend playing outside and practicing the piano? So that means together. So playing outside was 20 minutes. Had to look back at the problem. 20 minutes. Practicing the piano was 1/4 of an hour, but I know that's 15 minutes. So combined, both of those things together, and it's 35 minutes. Write and solve another equation to model the situation. Use the time Sadie spends doing homework and the total time Sadie spends practicing the piano and playing outside that you found in problems 2 and 3. Write another equation to model the situation. We did that already. We'll use our equation since it was different than the one they used. Gosh, we're smart. Okay. Look back at the equation at the bottom of the previous page. How is that equation similar to or different from your equation you wrote in problem 4? See, told you, we had a different equation. So this was the equation on the previous page. I'm just looking over there and copying it. Plus h. Okay, so how is our equation here different from the one the book has? You can pause. You have a little space to write your answer there. And then after you do that, reflect. So look back at the way you solved the problem, the way a family member solved the problem, this bar model here, or either equation, the book one or ours. Which strategy do you like the most? So explain which one is your favorite way. Maybe you did it a different way on the first page, family member did it a different way, bar model or equation. Which one's your favorite? And explain. If you don't want to write down your explanation, at least say it out loud to someone near you. Imaginary friend even. Say it out loud. Okay, next page. All right, here are the problems that I usually have you guys do with your table group. So, you don't have your table group. Bummer. But you have me and this video. And hopefully someone working on this with you or someone you can show your work to and show off once you're done. All right, number 7. Coach Douglas has a soccer practice from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. The team spends 10 minutes stretching and half an hour passing the ball. The team spends the rest of the time on skill drills. How many minutes does the team spend on skill drills? Use the number line to help solve the problem. Show your work. And it gives you the hint, 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Hopefully we don't need that hint. So, I don't know if anyone in my class plays soccer. I know a lot of people played basketball, but I don't know about soccer. I was never good at soccer. Too much running. So, practice starts at 4 o'clock, ends at 5:15. So we're just gonna make jumps on our number line for all these important times. Okay, so team spends 10 minutes stretching, half an hour passing the ball. The rest of the time is skill drills. So they're asking how many minutes does the team spend on skill drills. So 10 minutes of stretching. So that's gonna be here to here. Stretching. So 10 minutes after 4 o'clock would be 4:10. Okay, and then half an hour passing the ball. So bigger jump. Just write passing, or passing the ball. I have space. So that's half an hour after this. So that would be 30 minutes later. So 4:10 plus 30 minutes would be 4:40. Okay, and it says the rest of the time is skill drills. So here to the end, all the way to the end of practice. So from 4:40 to 5:15, how much time passed. So how much time did they spend on the drills? So I'm going to count up. We'll use a different color. I'm going to find out where 5 o'clock is, or I'm just going to like label 5 o'clock and figure out how much time from there to there, and then from 5 to 5:15, because that'll be a little more manageable jumps. So from 4:40 to 5 o'clock is 20 minutes, and then from 5 o'clock to 5:15 is 15 minutes. Okay, so I need to take those two times and add them together. So 20 plus 15 equals 35 minutes. All right, so solution line, skill drills took 35 minutes. Okay, give yourself a star if you showed your work, and a star if you wrote 35 minutes in a sentence. This is not as much fun as with all of you guys in class. Hold on. Okay, number 8. Trevor has 1 hour and 15 minutes to practice for the school play. This is 3 times as long as it takes him to finish his homework. How long does it take Trevor to finish his homework? Show your work. And it gives you the hint again. So he practices for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and that number, however many minutes that is 3 times as long as it takes him to finish his homework normally. So how long does it take him to finish his homework? So you're gonna pause and try to solve it. But 1 hour, 15 minutes, I need to convert just into minutes. So I know 1 hour is 60 minutes plus the 15 minutes right there. So here's 60 minutes, here's 15 minutes. Okay, so total, that would be 75 minutes. So this 75 minutes is how long he spends practicing for the school play. This is 3 times as long as it takes him to finish his homework. So 3 times something equals this, or this divided by 3 equals his homework time. So 75 divided by 3 equals H for homework, okay? Or 3 times H equals 75. Okay, so if you're working with me, pause it here and do partial quotients or an area model real quick for this division. Don't just guess a number. If you don't remember either of those strategies because it's been a while, I'll do the area model over here. Remember, you leave it open in case you need more space. 75 on the inside, 3 on the outside. Okay, so 3 into 7 can do 2 times, but I have this number left over, so there's my 0. 3 times 20 is 60. I subtract 15. Move that over to the next box. How many times can 3 go into 15? That would be 5, because 5 times 3 is 15. No left over, no remainder. My quotient is 25. I added my partial quotients, 25. So, how long does it take him to finish his homework? 25 minutes. Trevor spends 25 minutes on homework. I have space. Okay. All right, so showing your work gets you a star. Your solution line gets you another star. Okay, last one on this page. Are you in? There we go. Okay, number 9. Kwame, I think, spends 3/4 of an hour riding his bike in all. He spends 1/4 of an hour biking to the lake, 10 minutes biking around the lake, and the rest of the time biking home. How many minutes does he spend biking home? Show your work. All right, so the total amount of time is this 3/4 of an hour. Let me highlight. Total time, 3/4 of an hour in all. A quarter of an hour is biking to the lake, 10 minutes around the lake, and the rest of the time is biking home. So how much is that time biking home? So 3/4 of an hour. I gotta figure out how many minutes that is. So 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. So 3 times 15 would be 3/4 of an hour. So total time is 45 minutes. Or on our little clock over here, oh, back a couple pages. My strange little clock picture. Like here's 5, 10, 15. So 3/4 of an hour. Here's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So if the minute hand is pointing here, that would be at the 45. Okay, so 3/4 of an hour, 45 minutes. So that's how much time he spends biking in all. So if we're doing a bar model, that would be our total, 45. Okay, so the rest of it, I need another bar to figure out what he spent his time on. So 1/4 of an hour biking to the lake. So remember, 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. 10 minutes was biking around the lake, and the rest of it was biking home. Blue B. That's what we need to figure out. How many minutes was this? Okay, so hopefully that area model helps you with an equation. You can pause it there and try an equation. When you're ready, join me again. Total amount of time is 45 minutes minus what I know equals B. Or this plus this plus this equals 45, but this is how I'm going to solve it. Okay, so I do the parentheses first. 15 plus 10 is 25. Bring down everything outside of the parentheses. That equals B. 45 minus 25 is 20. If you want to do it on the side to check, go for it since I messed up last time. Yay, I did it right. Okay, 20 equals B. So that's how much time he spends biking home. So he spends 20 minutes biking home. Give yourself a star for doing your work with a bar model and an equation, or one or the other, whichever one you prefer. Or if you did both, that's great too. Another star for your sentence. Okay, we still have another bit. This is a longer lesson. The first one was just like 2 pages front and back. This one's 3 because we have this practice page. So if I could figure this out, there we go. All right, see, proof. Session 2. We're still in session 2. All right. Number 1 is a bar model about the example problem. So I've got to do the example. Amy has 1 hour to do activities. So that must be this 60 right here. That's her total amount of time to do activities. But they didn't put 1 hour, they put 60 minutes. They converted it to minutes. She talks on the phone for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna label that right there, that little box. She rides her bike for 15 minutes. She plays a game with her brother for 25 minutes. How much time does Amy have left to spend painting a picture? Which is why they picked variable P. So painting a picture is the rest of her 60 minutes, however much time she's got left after these fun activities. So look, we completed the bar model. Look at the bar model in problem 1. What does P represent? So like we just said, it's how much time she has left to spend painting a picture. P represents the time she can spend painting a picture. Okay, done. Number 3. Milo visits an amusement park for 3 hours. I need my highlighter. So, visits an amusement park for 3 hours. He goes on rides for 50 minutes, plays carnival games for 40 minutes, eats food for 30 minutes. He spends the rest of the time waiting in lines. How much time does Milo spend waiting in lines? Write and solve an equation to find an answer. So 3 hours equals how many minutes? Ooh, nice. Okay, so if 1 hour is 60, 3 hours would be 60 times 3. Okay. So pause anytime you guys want to solve the problems by yourself, right? But 180 minutes. Okay. Known activities. So these little blanks are for the minutes of things that we know he did. So this is the total amount of minutes he was at the park. He was on rides for 50 minutes, we know that. Played carnival games for 40 minutes and ate food for 30. So if you take a second and add all of those up, you should get 120 minutes. So my equation is going to be how much time does he spend waiting in line? So it's going to be the difference in his total time minus the activities he did, right? So it's going to be 180 total time minus the known activities, the ones we know he did for sure, or 180 minus 120 because we already added those, okay? So how many minutes did he spend waiting in lines? 180 minus 120 equals 60 minutes. So he spent a full hour waiting in lines. Of his 3 hours, 1 whole hour waiting in lines. That does not seem worth it to me. Okay, give yourself a star. At least you got to eat for half an hour. Okay, back page. 3 more problems, then we're done. Okay, number 4. Suki watches a movie and eats a snack afterward. Good for her. The movie starts at 7:15 and is 1.5 hours long. Suki finishes her snack at 9:10. How long does Suki spend eating a snack? Use the number line to help solve the problem. Show your work. Okay, so first is the movie. She watches the movie and then eats a snack afterwards. So I need to figure out from the time the movie starts to whenever the movie ends, okay? So it's 1.5 hours long. So my first jump is going to be the movie. And that's going to be, label it movie, 1.5 hours. Okay, so 1 hour later would be 8:15, but half an hour after that, or wait, yeah, 8:15 is 1 hour, and then half an hour after that would be 8:45. Okay, the rest of the time she's eating her snack. So 8:45 to 9:10. Don't know how long that is. That's what we need to figure out. So again, I don't really want to figure out how much 8:45 all the way to 9:10, but I could figure out both of those to 9 o'clock. So 8:45 to 9 o'clock, that's 15 minutes. And 9 o'clock to 9:10, I know that's 10 minutes. So it's 15 minutes plus 10 minutes is how long she spent eating her snack. So if you pause and figure that out, 25 minutes. I'm not going to write it in a sentence because this is already a very long video, but I'm sure you did. 2 stars, showing your work on your number line and your sentence. Okay, number 5. One of the fastest times for a 1,500 meter race is 3 minutes and 34 seconds. How many seconds is that time? Ooh, tricky. Okay, so they want us to convert the race time, the fastest, or one of the fastest, I guess, race times into seconds, okay? So 3 minutes, 34 seconds. So let's break that apart. So 3 minutes, and then I don't need to change 34 seconds into seconds, right? But 3 minutes, we need to break that apart and convert that into seconds. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. 3 minutes would be 3 times 60. That got a little wild. Okay, so that would be like we did before with the 3 hours with Milo in the park. 3 times 60 is 180 seconds. Okay, so 3 minutes, 180 seconds. 3 minutes and 34 seconds is this plus this. Okay, so 180 plus 34. You can pause and solve that on your own. I'm gonna stack them over here. 0 plus 4 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11. 214 seconds. Super fast. All right. I bet I'm faster though. Okay, last problem. Okay, centered. Bennett spends 4 hours at school today. What? 4 hours? Slacker. He attends 3 70-minute classes. So he goes to 3 classes, each one is 70 minutes. 70, 70, and 70, okay? There is a 5-minute break between classes, so between each of those. Then he eats lunch before going home. How long is his lunch? Whoa, okay. If you want to draw a bar model, if you want to do a number line, if you want to do an equation, if you want to just write a whole bunch of problems, like mini problems right there, go for it. Okay, first we need to figure out 4 hours is how many minutes. Converting 4 hours equals blank minutes. Okay, 1 hour is 60 minutes, so 4 times 60 is going to be my number of minutes in 4 hours. 4 times 6 is 24, add the 0 from the 60, 240 minutes. So that's how long he's at school. He has 3 70-minute classes. Okay, so classes, time in class. Class equals 3 classes, each are 70 minutes. So that would be 210 minutes. Okay, and then time between classes. I'm just gonna say between. It's 5 minutes in between his classes. So he has 1 class and then a 5-minute break, and then another class and then a 5-minute break, and then his last class. So there's only 2 breaks. So it's actually just 2 times 5 for the time in between classes. And that's 10 minutes. Okay. Then he eats lunch before going home. How long does he spend eating lunch? So we take our total amount of time, 240 minutes, minus the class time, plus the time between classes, and that will equal his lunchtime. It's not very much. Okay, so 210 plus 10 is 220. Bring down everything else outside of the parentheses. 240 minus 220, just 20 minutes. He spends 20 minutes at lunch. Star, 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 star. You guys are awesome. Miss you lots. Bye.